I love the Chemex brewer. It is a stunning piece of design. It's actually in a design museum. It has a lot of quirky caveats. The weird filter, albeit the filter itself does a really good job of filtering out the coffee fines and keeping in what you really want to get into the cup, which is extracted brewed coffee. So it has this weird four-fold system. You can get others that are pre-formed and even the flat piece of paper ones. Now with this one, which I find is the most common one, they say what you need to do is get 3 sides. So you have one side and then 3 sides, and put that 3 side against the pouring lip. But actually, I find that it's actually insufficient. I've done different things over the years by folding this over. They all don't work. What I found really does work is just to fold that back over itself again. Just like that. I'm gonna place that extra layer of thickness of paper against that pourer, and it really stops the paper from getting sucked into the to the pouring part of the Chemex. And if that happens, what happens is then we'll have a vacuum and we won't get good extraction of the coffee because there's no oxygen and air getting drawn out. So we're going to place that filter right over the pourer, and always pre-wet. And it's particularly important with the Chemex because then, you know, it really allows us to almost glue that paper to the side of the brewer. So this recipe that I'm going to show you guys today is a 2-cup recipe, and it's going to give us 300 ml portion per person. So 600 mils of brewed coffee, and we're going to use 36 gram dose. And the coffee that I've chosen today is this beautiful Rwanda Felipe. It's a red bourbon. It's a really, really nice coffee. At this stage, what I like to do with this water is I just like to preheat my cups. So I've got my cups preheated. I've got my paper with the extra fold against the pouring part. The paper is pre-wet and glued, if you will, to the brewing section of the Chemex, and we're on the scale. We've got our 36 grams of ground coffee, and this is a coarse grind, similar to French press. Actually, I use an identical French press grind, which is 20 on the burrata and 7 clicks on the Porlex. So we're going straight in with the coffee. At this stage, we're just going to level that bed. Now we're going to tear the scale and we're going to start the timer. So I'm going to introduce 70 to 80 grams of water, and then I'm going to give it a good stir. Really want to get in there and get everything nice and wet, all that grind. Really want to get that all saturated and all ready for brewing. So around the 30-second mark, and we're approaching 27 seconds right now, we're going to add some more water. And I'm going to add another 100 grams of water. And I'm going to give it a nice stir. Now we're currently at 50 seconds. So I'm just going to wait another 10 seconds and add another 100 grams of water. So I'm going to repeat this process all the way up to 600 grams of water being poured on top of the coffee, and then that's just going to draw through, and we're going to enjoy a beautiful cup of filter coffee. And this stirring action, what it really does is it allows us to draw all of the coffee grind that gets stuck on the sides of the filter paper and draw it back into the center so all of that water can draw through. So we're at 500 now. Give it another stir. And then we're going up to 600. The beauty about the Chemex itself is that you can extrapolate this recipe and brew all the way up to a litre in this brewer. At this stage, I'm going to take it off the scale and then I'm going to give it a slight little tap just to knock any extra grind back down into the base of that dose, so all of the water has no option but to draw straight through. And as you can see in the lip here, the paper still has allowed that air to escape, so it's brewing nicely. Now extra fold really is helping it to stop from getting drawn into that pouring part of the brewer. So it's drawing through at a nice speed. So the trick with Chemex is that if it's drawing through quite slowly, we know that we are too fine. So I'm really happy at the rate that the coffee is flowing through. The quirky thing about Chemex is that you have to grind really quite coarsely, which isn't ideal for optimal coffee grind, but you cannot argue with the depth and the quality of cup flavor that the Chemex provides. And it's just such a beautiful brewer, and it's really nice to bring out for your guests and your loved ones. So at this point, I'm just going to empty that water from our cups that we're using to drink out of. And that water's been sitting there preheating these cups. So we're going to have a really nice hot cup of coffee. And as you can see, if you have a look at that, we've done a really excellent job of making sure that there's no coffee grind stuck to the sides and all of the coffee's been sucked back and down and into the middle. So all we know is that we've done our best to allow the water to draw out the maximum flavor of the coffee. So at this point, just grab the filter paper together. It's almost like changing a nappy. And I like to roll it around the top. And then I'm just going to place that into this cup. And now we're ready to serve. The Chemex really does make a unique cup of coffee. It has a really exceptional balance between like the syrupy, rich character of coffee and the nuance and sweetness that you associate with more refined brewing styles like the V60. Chemex Brewing, get into it.